everybody. I figure we start going because I know that there might be questions for the president, so I am just going to start my introductions. Good afternoon. I am Interim Chancellor Gabriella Scarlatta. I have... Thank you. And don't be surprised if I refer to myself as the provost. So sorry, Gassan, but it has happened. But I have gotten used to my new title, kind of, but I will admit it feels a little strange still to say it in the presence of our guest. But it is very, very much an honor to introduce our guest by his new title. Please welcome University of Michigan President Domenico Grasso. It is a delight to have him back on our campus to give us an overview of what is happening in Ann Arbor that may impact our campus, and also here to answer some questions about a range of topics that impact our Dearborn campus. Though I should note this is not his first visit back since he moved down the road to Ann Arbor. Some of you might know that the president is now teaching an honor course with Professor Marie Wang, and he's actually here every Wednesday. So our students are, especially in that class, incredibly lucky to have our president and Professor Wang co-teaching a course together. And certainly we're very fortunate to have him today. I am very, very grateful because I know to him and his team, because we know he's very busy, but he's been here since this morning with the class. We had lunch, and he's going to be here for the talk, like I said. So thank you, President Grasso. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. We know Dearborn remains very close to your heart, and we really appreciate the ways you have been advocating for UM-Dearborn and UM-Flint in Ann Arbor. We really appreciate that additional layer of advocacy. We're very lucky to have you, and I wonder if you might want to consider the permanent president position. Just saying. So before I turn the microphone over, I would also like to say hello to another familiar UM-Dearborn face, Ken and Bill. I don't know where he went. Oh, Ken! All right. As you know, Ken is working as the senior advisor to the president in Ann Arbor this year, and he also was very, he helped us put together this event, and we'll be asking some questions that you submitted. So thank you, Ken. I also want to welcome Steve Yaros. Where did Steve go? Oh, hi, Steve. Steve, do you want to? Well, Steve is the president's chief of staff. And so thank you for coming to visit our campus. By the way, Steve is from Dearborn, and a couple of his siblings came to UM-Dearborn for school. And also, of course, Miss Kim Clark. She's the executive speech writer to the president and the historian, the campus historian. Let's just say that too. So. As you know, I have had the privilege of working with Domenico's team this last 5 months, the whole team in Ann Arbor. And I have to say everybody has been so welcoming and attentive to our issues, the issues of Dearborn, asking questions, showing concern at all levels. So I know that the Ann Arbor campus is really thinking about us, and of course the Flint campus as well. I have a final note. I am very pleased that President Grasso has agreed to take some questions at the end. So thank you for your time out of your very schedule once again, and thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Scarlatta. And I do want to say I am delighted to be here. And it is not a coincidence that this was planned during homecoming week, because I feel like I have absolutely returned home here this week. This place has been very special to me for the last 7 years and will no doubt continue to be special for the rest of my life, but certainly while I'm in this position in the Ann Arbor campus, that I hold this in a very revered place. And I hold it up often as examples of how the University of Michigan makes a significant difference. So I'm delighted to be here, and I'd like to tell you about some of the things I'm doing in Ann Arbor, and I'm glad that I brought Ken with me because he reminds me of all the things that we did in Dearborn that we can adopt and adapt in Ann Arbor as well. So it's terrific to have Ken with me. And Steve, I inherited, which was a gift from previous presidents, and Kim has been an unbelievable resource for me, a treasure. She was actually working with me while I was chancellor, and I'm delighted that she has continued to do that with me in Ann Arbor. So I'd like to start by talking about 3 priorities that I established when I became president. And the first one was to reestablish the trust and pride that has been a hallmark of this university, but has somehow faded in the last several months because of abrupt changes in a variety of things and the world around us. So I've been listening, I've been meeting with a great number of people throughout I was going to say the Dearborn community, but it's the Ann Arbor community and the campuses. And I have to say that Gabriella Chancellor Scarlata has done a terrific job representing the university at Dearborn at executive officer meetings and with the regents meetings. So she's been a terrific resource as well. So I've been spending a lot of time listening and hearing what people are concerned about and how they think things have changed and how they think things are playing out into the future. And that's very important. And this summer, I met with every single Jewish community group I could find in Ann Arbor and southeastern Michigan, and every Arab American group I could find in Michigan, in southeast Michigan and Ann Arbor, Dearborn area. And we've had a relatively quiet start to the year, and I hope that it continues this way and that we listen to each other, where's Maureen, with intellectual empathy, and we really take advantage of that and try to accommodate everyone's feelings and in a respectful manner. My second priority is to really showcase the value and importance of the University of Michigan to everyone that will listen. Even if they don't want to listen, I will force it upon them. We have a university that is unrivaled in America and in the world. I say this without any tongue-in-cheek. We are the best university in the world. We have 3 campuses that contribute in varying ways to the education of the next generation of leaders. In Ann Arbor and on the other campuses, we have 110 programs that are ranked in the top 10. We have a world-class medical center, and we have an athletics program that is unrivaled. We have breadth and depth across so many disciplines that no other university in the world can match us. And I say this not just here, but to other leaders of other universities as well. So I think that we really have to underscore the value of this institution to the region, to the nation, and to the world. And we've lost a little bit of ground in this because we've lost the public trust. And one of my goals is, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, is to reacquire the public trust. I want the University of Michigan to actually take the lead in this. This is our moment at the university where we can move into the passing lane. Many of our peer institutions are embattled. They are fighting various entities in Washington. They're at risk from enrollment or research pressures. We are strong. We have never been stronger. We have in cash reserves significant resources. And we've only lost, in terms of research dollars from the federal government, 32 million, where many of our peers have lost hundreds of millions of dollars. This is our moment to move into the passing lane, and I want to capture that opportunity. So that's priority number 2. And priority number 3 is to look at the long-term success of the university by optimizing how we do business. And we're reorganizing things around the president's office and other organizations on campus to make sure that we operate as efficiently as possible. And I think things have gotten away from various organizations, and we're trying to reestablish an operating procedure that is efficient and effective and that is going to help us be as successful as can be. So those are my 3 priorities. And as part of that, we have initiatives. And one of my strongest initiatives is Look to Michigan. And you may have seen this, and if you're on campus, you will see Look to Michigan on banners hanging from buildings, on large banners or on light posts. Buses have wraps on them that now say Look to Michigan. This is an important component of tying our strategic initiative, which was Vision 2034, and it's now called Look to Michigan, and our capital campaign. We're bringing those 2 together because you know what? When I go outside of Michigan and I talk to leaders or people from around the world, they are all looking to Michigan. I am on a call with the Big Ten, and at the end of a meeting, I will hear somebody or someone offline say, "What's Michigan doing?" People look to Michigan. We are the leaders and best. And I want to make that evident in a very manifest way. So this is our new strategic plan, is to look to Michigan, and a major part of that is to capture and reestablish the public trust. So we were established in 1817 in the public interest. We have remained there ever since. And we have to underscore that in everything that we do, that everything that we do is directed to the public interest. Among all 3 campuses, we have 7,000 faculty members. 7,000 faculty members. What I'm asking, and I'm asking all of you that are faculty members here and staff members, to consider yourselves as public intellectuals. We need the intelligence, the vision, and the talents of all the people that work at our universities to reach out to the public and explain why what you're doing on our campuses is important to the health, well-being, and welfare of every citizen in our country. And we have not been able to do that effectively. So I'm asking all of our faculty members to think of themselves as public intellectuals. And I just had a dinner last night with a donor and our VPMA and provost and several other VPs. And one of the people at the table said, it wasn't me, said, "We want our faculty to be public intellectuals." So I know it's catching on, and I hope that we continue to do this, because this is how we're going to reestablish that trust, is when we can reach out and let our fellow citizens know what we're doing and how it impacts their lives. So that's one of my initiatives. Another one of my initiatives is, of course, the Look to Michigan campaign that I was just mentioning. And in this, we are doing something that we've never done at this university before. We are investing in a national public relations campaign. We've never done this in the history of the university. We're launching right now this week, right, Ken? In various markets, of course, southeastern Michigan, Detroit market, New York City, DC, LA, Chicago, and Seattle are the big major markets that we're launching in. We have print and digital ads, display searches, audio podcasts. I'm meeting with the New York Times. We have meetings set up with the Wall Street Journal. We're taking out ads in The Atlantic, in The Economist. Thank you very much. So this is what one of the ads looks like. This is going to be a full-page ad in The Atlantic. And you see here that we are saying that the University of Michigan was built for moments like this. And if you look to the right, you can't read it very well, but it does say, "Look to Michigan" for a variety of different things. Among those is building the national trust and to be leaders and in directing the future of our nation. I think that this is important. This also builds on, if anybody's walked through DTW, you've seen that Michigan Medicine actually beat us to this punch because they have massive billboards there that say there are answers and there are Michigan answers. And this is why you should be looking to Michigan. Of course, that's a little bit bold to say something like that, but we are a bold institution. And I love to build on that. So this is going to be in the Atlantic. We're going to have similar ads in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and a variety of other outlets. And we are also building we're going to be building an institute of sorts that is now named Unit X because it's top secret, but it's not. But it's not very top secret anymore. So we're going to be investing upwards of $250 million in this to build an institute like the Broad or the Weiss that are associated with Harvard and MIT, or ARC, which is the Stanford Berkeley equivalent on the West Coast. And these institutes are designed for the rapid translation of biomedical discoveries to commercialization. So the Broad and the Weiss are outstanding examples of this. In Cambridge, we're modeling of sorts to go down the same path. We have extraordinary talent and expertise here. Our niche area is going to be focused on AI and the biosciences. So we're going to be looking at a combination of the biosciences and AI as our focus point for this new investment here. So this is an exciting new venture that we're moving forward as an initiative. Another one, which you may have read about, which I announced, I think it was last week. Was it last week? Things are blending together. Is we're going to invest $50 million in an institute for civil discourse, where we're going to try to bring various perspectives together for dialogue. The working name of this is going to be called the American Dialogue Center. And we have a task force that I just launched yesterday. We've got a lot of very smart people from a variety of different units on campus that are going to be looking at how we can bring various perspectives together in constructive ways to talk about that sometimes divisive and bitter topics that have separated people for so long. And we're going to be looking for ways to try to address these. And we want the nation and the world to look to Michigan as an example of how we can address these topics. And I'm very excited about this. Both of these I hope to launch by the spring because, as Gabriella intimated earlier, I'm leaving in the spring. So I want both of these off the ground before I depart. And let me just say a few words about the presidential search. So the presidential search is going extraordinarily well. I just spoke with Mark Bernstein yesterday. They've already started to identify small groups of candidates that may be interested in this from outstanding institutions. They've hired Spencer Stewart to lead the search. I've had personal experience with Spencer Stewart, and I recommended this search firm because they actually placed me in my previous job at Delaware, and I think that they are a top-notch search firm, and they're working to help the folks in Ann Arbor identify the next president. I also recommended Rima to be on the search committee, and she agreed, and they thought it was a terrific suggestion. So she is representing our campus, not your campus, not our campus. So this is how I slip up all the time. She is representing the Dearborn campus on the search, and I think that she's going to do a terrific job. There are a lot of listening sessions underway. I've had the chance to provide a list of characteristics from my experience that I think would be important for them to consider in the next presidential candidate. And they expect to announce an appointment early in 2026. And then there'll be a transition period that I hopefully will be able to help the next president before I depart on May 8th. So that is just to put a marker on your calendar. And We are also well underway with the Dearborn Chancellor's Search, and we have two co-chairs for this. So as is the case when we launch a search for a dean or or a department chair, we typically have it chaired by someone of equal stature so that that individual knows what's involved. So we've asked the chancellor from the Flint campus, Lawrence Alexander, to co-chair it with the provost, Gassan Cridley. So they will both be chairing this. They're finalizing the search firm selection, and I know that Spencer Stewart was considered. We don't know if they have the bandwidth to do two searches for the same university. So there are other search firms that are of equal stature that are being considered as well. It's going to be a confidential search, and the search committee is going to be announced very soon. And hopefully the announcement for the new chancellor will coincide with the announcement for the new president. So that's also exciting. And the final thing is, when I came to this office, I told my folks that I wanted to have fun. So in as much work as it is, I've had the opportunity to have fun in different places there. So at the football games, I'm now doing, if you've been to a football game, I'm doing something called the Prez Quiz. So in the third quarter, I'll go into the stands and we'll pick out a student and ask some trivia questions of the students. So one of my trivia questions during my first Prez Quiz was, besides Ann Arbor, name another U of M campus. And if she did, she picked Dearborn, but if she didn't, I would have kicked her under the table. But she did pick Dearborn, so that was very successful. I also visited the band for their evening practices, and these students work so hard in the band. They were telling me that in the first several weeks, they get to campus early and they work 10 hours, 12 hours a day during practice, and that the average weight loss is 20 pounds per person. That's how hard they work. And there are 300, I was mentioning this earlier, 370 people in the band and 270 people on the field. And 100 people that are in the band don't get to play in the field. And every week they have to try out to be on the field. So it's a very competitive process there. And these kids are really terrific. And 40% of the band is our engineers, which is incredible as well. So they have a rigorous academic program and they're practicing with the band. I also, as Gabriella mentioned, I'm teaching a class here, which I really am enjoying thoroughly with Marie, and it's been so much fun. And Susan and I were scooping ice cream for the students earlier in the semester, and that was a lot of fun to interact with students. We're trying to do as much out and about on campus as possible. And the other thing is, when I got to Ann Arbor, everything was kind of locked up because there was a lot of concern about safety. And one of the first things we did was unlock everything. So Ruthven's unlocked now, the president's office is unlocked, and we're trying to reopen the campus so everybody feels like it's a safe and welcoming place for students, faculty, and staff. So I think I covered everything, Ken. Is that right? All right, so now it's time for questions and answers, and Ken's gonna.
Yep, we'll take it away. Kristen.
Thank you.
So a couple, can you hear me? I don't know if the mic's on. All right, perfect. Hopefully we all convince President Grasso to push that May 8th deadline a little bit further. We're all working on it back in Ann Arbor. So we're going to start the Q&A session. Kristen Palm is going to circulate with a mic, so if you have any questions, just raise your hand. She'll come your way. And then there's some pre-submitted questions that I will intersplice here, and we'll start with some of those first. So we'll start with the relatively, I think, easy one, but what surprises have you encountered during your presidency in Ann Arbor versus being chancellor at Dearborn?
Well, as you know, I was chancellor here for 7 years, but before this, I was provost at a relatively large R1 at the University of Delaware. So I thought that I was pretty well prepared to make the shift over there. But Ann Arbor is, as I mentioned earlier, unlike any other university in the world. Ann Arbor, the university system, or all three campuses, we have 60,000 employees. Ann Arbor alone has 55,000 students. The operating budget is $16 billion. So I went from $200 million here or thereabouts to $16 billion. So that was a big jump in terms of numbers. But in Ann Arbor, you have a world-class academic medical center that rivals any academic medical center in the world. And you also have a sports entertainment complex that rivals essentially all collegiate and many professional sports. And then you have a world-class research operation that rivals national laboratories. And that's all under one roof. And it is really an unusual opportunity to lead an organization like this. And it's been an incredible privilege. It's fun every day. It's a lot of work. I don't go to bed early. I am sleeping way less than I ever slept in my life, even when I was in the military. But I have to say, every day I wake up and I'm always looking forward because it's so much fun to work in an organization that is so distinguished and so renowned.
Another question, this is a common question when the president comes to the regional campuses, but ideas for collaboration, maybe talk about some of the things that you've done since being president to include both Dearborn and Flint into strategic conversations in Ann Arbor.
Well, as you probably know, because I know the chancellor mentioned this during her conversation, is we've transferred $5 million to each of the regional campuses, and that my goal is that is in perpetuity as long as the conditions are met. And the only conditions are that we work to increase enrollment, retention, and graduation rates. So it's all student focused. So that's what those resources are for. So over years, I mean, over 20 years, that's $100 million. That's a lot of money that would be transferred, but it's all for the greater good, for the benefit of all the students that attend these universities. And in all the meetings, and Gabriella knows this, and if I forget, she's there to remind me, we always ask, how can we include the regional campuses, whether it's research initiatives or other types of civil discourse initiatives. And we're always trying to put, and on the civil discourse committee, task force I launched last week, we made sure that Maureen Linker was on that. So she's representing not only Dearborn, but this whole concept of intellectual empathy, which she's a leader in. So there is so much greatness on each of the campuses that we want to take advantage of all of it. And there is no other school that has what I just described as the University of Michigan Ann Arbor, and has two other campuses like Dearborn and Flint that serve different populations, have different perspectives, and really complements the excellence that's in Ann Arbor. So this is really a very special place.
And is Bessa here on that side? I don't see her, but you know, there's a lot of great ideas that faculty and staff have, and I would encourage you to reach out to Chancellor Scarlatta. She is, you know, there's ideas from this campus. Funnel them through Gabriella. She'll bring them back to President Grasso, and we'll see where things go from there. So just wanted to point that out. The Detroit Innovation Center downtown. Another question about how Dearborn can be involved in the programming and the planning of that's going into that center. Any thoughts? Yeah,
first it's called the University of Michigan Center for Innovation, and it was called the Detroit Center, but it wasn't properly branded. But now it's UMCI, so it's the University of Michigan Center for Innovation, which is terrific. And is Frederic here? Oh, there he is. So my understanding is that we are now going to be offering our MBA program through UMCI, through a lot of hard work. What's that? A tech MBA program at UMCI. So that's terrific because that's going to be a doorway, not just to this terrific program, but to the rest of this campus. So we're going to be tied into that. And I know that the folks in Detroit are excited to see what plays out from UMCI. And that's just one avenue. And then, of course, the Detroit Center, I was privileged to attend last week's 20th celebration, Detroit Center. And the Detroit Center is run by Paul Draus, who is one of our faculty members. So this campus really is making a difference in so many different areas here. And thank you, Frederic.
Any questions from the audience yet? I'm running out of questions here, folks, so. Kristen, okay, I'll bring the mic over. I guess this is a fun one, but have you tried the Maize and Blue Deli yet in Ann Arbor?
No, I know where it is, but I have not tried it yet, but it's on my list of, I just don't have the time, to be honest with you, but it's on my list.
Hi, Chancellor.
This question is for Gabriella.
I know you have so many things on your list, and I'm wondering, have there been any conversations regarding transferring any control to Dearborn and Flint in terms of residency decisions?
I know that Gabriella has brought this up, and I think that folks are working on that. That is a good question, and I know it's been a subject of concern for some time, but I don't know where that stands. But that is an excellent question.
Hi. I totally agree that enrollment is central to everything we do here. And so one question for us is that, is Ann Arbor looking to increase its enrollment? Because obviously we're concerned about enrollment here. Does that lead to zero-sum gains since only so many students in Southeast Michigan? So what are your thoughts on how Ann Arbor and Dearborn and Flint can coordinate to increase enrollment without possibly taking from one to gain to another?
That also is an excellent question. And as you may have read in various articles, M-Daily or University Record, that we've had a significant increase in enrollment in Ann Arbor. Since 2021, our enrollment in Ann Arbor has gone up 10%, which is a significant number. We're almost 55,000 now. And I have proposed to the regents that we need a strategic plan to decide what the optimum enrollment for the university is going to be. Right now, anybody who applies to the Ann Arbor campus is also de facto applying to the Dearborn and Flint campuses. So or can be considered for those campuses as well. So we now have a different system than we had before, so that if folks don't get into the Ann Arbor campus, they can still come to the Dearborn campus, or even choose Dearborn over Ann Arbor if they're accepted to both. But it is, I hope it's not a zero-sum game, because there are other universities in the Southeast Michigan region that are also competing for students, and we want to make sure that both of our campuses are very competitive when it comes to, or all three of our campuses are competitive when it comes to being an attractive place for students to do their advanced studies. But we are going to be developing a strategic enrollment management plan for the Ann Arbor campus, and Adele is working on that right now.
There was a question submitted. If you are a non-technical faculty member or staff member, and you're really interested in AI and figuring out ways to incorporate that into the workplace here, do you have any suggestions for those folks?
I would say that Ravi Pensy, who's our CIO, has done a terrific job of centralizing resources for faculty and staff to use around AI. And I would go to the ITS website to look for some of those. And for the faculty members here, he told me just this morning, because he was lecturing in Marie's class as well on AI, that in 4 minutes that faculty members can put together a digital AI tutor that's accessible 24/7 for their students on the class. You just import things off of the Canvas website. So I think that that is a terrific tool for the faculty member, whether you're in a tech field or in the humanities or social sciences. So there are so many opportunities around AI. Of course, reading broadly in magazines or venues like The Atlantic or The Economist, they always have great stories about the uses of AI in various scenarios in society.
Any other questions? Kristen as well?
I'm just going to add to what Domenico said, actually, is make sure you read Reporter. I would be remiss if I did not say that because I edit it. And we had a story last week or the week before about how faculty on this campus are using AI to assist with their jobs. So UM-Dearborn.edu/news, it's right there.
And I just wanted to know the Hub for Teaching and Learning here can also help you, connect AI, can help you create an easy bot as well on our campus. So keep that in mind.
Hello, President Grasso. This is kind of a fun question, but I know that we see you ride your bike around campus. And I enjoy riding my bike as well. Have you been riding any trails out in Ann Arbor or riding on campus? I know you've been busy, but have you had that opportunity?
Thank you for that question, but unfortunately, I have not had the opportunity to ride my bike. I typically just walk from the house to my office, but my wife has been using her bike almost daily to do all of our errands in Ann Arbor because the bike trails there are terrific, and she does all of our shopping and other errands on her bike. But it's one of the sad casualties of taking this job, unfortunately.
Hi, President Grasso. I have a question. I was wondering, so I'm Director of Global Engagement. You talked about the American Civil Discourse Center, which is very exciting. And I was wondering, I have to make the plug for Global, what Presence Global might have within that American Center. Obviously, a lot of the divisions within the country have a global flavor to them. So I was wondering that.
Well, I think, thank you. As you very well know, since you are one of our award winners, we have a strong commitment to, and I don't know if you know, but Scott won the Presidential Award for Global Engagement. So even though it's going to be called the American Dialogue Center, it is going to be addressing global issues, but it's going to be focused on American perspectives in addressing global issues. And I'm sure that it will expand out to more international as we get our feet under us. But I know that Maureen will take that back to her task forces as they develop the plans for the future.
President Grasso, you told us you don't sleep very much, so what keeps you up?
What keeps me up?
Yeah, what are you worried about?
I think pretty much everything, I mean, whether it's on campus or off campus, the state of the world, the state of the nation, and the state of our university, and the state of our state. So I think that there are so many things that I am always trying to be attentive to that can go wrong, that I want to make sure that we've got our finger on. And as you probably know, that I spent time in the military, so I'm trying to be as planful as I can and trying to make sure that I have all of our contingencies worked out. And Ken knows, and Steve, we meet daily and we talk about what happened yesterday, what's happening today, and what's happening tomorrow, literally. And we are trying to plan ahead for everything. And I have to say, I've had a great team here, and I have a terrific team in Ann Arbor, and they've been very helpful to me in terms of thinking through things and planning for things. But when you're in this kind of job, it's not something that you can unplug and when you go home. So things just keep moving around in your head until sometime you just are so exhausted that you do fall asleep.
So if you said anything other than everything, I was going to be surprised.
But Ohio State game is at the top of the list here.
It just continues, Brian. Any other questions? Looks like, there's a lot of donuts here. Maybe people want the donuts to make up.
So related question to what you just answered, but I wonder with all the challenges coming at us from the administration in Washington? How are we navigating those as an institution? And what do you think the outlook is there?
That's a great question. And we are trying to stay on top of everything. And I think that we have put things into play that are going to be defensive. And, you know, one of the criticisms is that higher education's been out of touch with society. And this is part of the Look to Michigan. We want the nation to look to Michigan as a model for engagement with society, why we are important in the public interest. We were founded that way. We continue to be there. And great nations have in large measure become great because they had great universities. And if we risk our great universities, we're risking the future of our nations. And we have to make that case over and over again. And I think as we position ourselves, we are trying to think of what is coming at us and how we can create a defensive posture on that. And not only defensive, but be offensive in a lot of ways. And the Look to Michigan is part of the offensive approach to that. And some of you know 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I don't remember, but I had a chance to talk to the Secretary of Education who wanted to talk to me about things. And the first thing she said was that this is a terrible time to be a president of a university. And at least they recognize that in Washington.
Domenico, do you want to comment about our alumni base and our elected officials from Michigan and how they're helping us?
Yeah, and we do have a terrific, terrific alumni base, and our elected officials have been helping protect us, essentially, in Washington. And we've been interacting with many of them. And when I talk about strategizing, it is in a very large sense with our alumni, with our elected officials, and with anybody else that we feel we could develop a strategic partnership with to help protect, preserve, and promote the University of Michigan.
So, I mean, personally, it's nice to see representatives on both sides of the aisle really go to bat for UM. It's really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks, President Grasso. Welcome back. I wonder, I think many of us who have friends and colleagues in Ann Arbor find interesting perspectives on Dearborn or things that might not even be accurate. Or I wonder, what's something that you found that was a perception about Dearborn that surprised you or that was an opportunity for some education?
There are some misconceptions about Dearborn, and largely they center around the demographics of Dearborn and the perspectives that are shared by various demographics of Dearborn. So I think that it's been my opportunity to disabuse people of their preconceived notions and to share the greatness of this community and of this campus. And I think that it's interesting because every time I turn around, it seems like Ann Arbor has stolen another person from Dearborn to fill a critical role. So we have so many people that have moved from Dearborn to Ann Arbor, and I'm very proud of that such talent is developed and nurtured here, but it is unfortunate that we keep having to fill holes here because Ann Arbor keeps taking the talent. But I think that it really speaks to the respect that the folks in Ann Arbor have for the talent here. But there are folks, it's not as widespread as you might think, but there are misconceptions about what this community comprises.
Any other questions? Domenico, any final words?
No, I love Dearborn, and it's terrific to be back here every Wednesday night when I come to teach. My blood pressure comes down significantly when I get on campus, and I do miss this place, and it's so pleasant to walk around here. It's beautiful. The students are so thoughtful. Just this morning, so I just got to tell you this story, and I told it at lunch too. We had a Ravi Pensy, who's our CIO, was lecturing on AI, and he was asking the students how they use AI. And this one student, I came up with this answer that was incredible, and she said that she will write papers, and then into the ChatGPT, she will put in the rubric that the faculty member gave her, and then she will ask AI, ChatGPT, to grade her paper. Not to rewrite her paper, but to grade it so she can see where she fell short, and then she rewrites the paper. That is the most appropriate and most clever and thoughtful use of AI that I've seen a student come up with. Usually it's like, please write this paper. But these are the types of things that make me proud of the University of Michigan-Dearborn, make me so happy to come here on Wednesdays and to work with these students and with Marie, who has done a masterful job of thoughtfully putting this class together. So I do want to say that I do miss University of Michigan-Dearborn, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. But with that, I'll say, go blue and go Dearborn.